Are we live? Are we live? I think so. Audio check. Let's do a quick audio check and make sure everything is fine here. And we can start the show. My goodness, a second live stream. Someone in the previous chat, they said, who does a live stream at 1 a.m.? It wasn't 1 a.m. for me. It was 3 a.m. Now it's 4. Now it's almost 5 a.m. And that's how obsessed I am about Andrew Yang. Let's get the show in a row. Hey, folks, we're going to be doing. Let me start this properly. Hey, welcome to the campaign to re-elect Andrew Yang in 2024. The road to the White House in 2024 begins with winning the White House in 2020. Am I right? Am I right? Little funny. I know. It's a little weird. I know. But that's just how much I believe in Andrew Yang. 4 years of Andrew Yang just ain't enough. So this is the show where we're going to be talking about all about Yang and all about the Yang gang. Loving what you guys are doing. I know I just did a show, but and I was supposed to go to bed, or I was supposed to eat and then go to bed, but I just didn't want to go to sleep without doing. I wanted to become. I want to get up to date. I've been behind. I want to get up to date. I want to do even more shows. I'll probably do another show tomorrow, so definitely subscribe if you want to know more. As long as more news comes out, I'm going to be doing shows about Andrew Yang. I'm not going anywhere, so definitely subscribe and hit that bell so you know when I go live and when I put out some videos. There's some clips, some comedy clips, and some other things. You can check it out on my YouTube page if you haven't done that already. And subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and on YouTube. All right, let's get the show on the road. Let's see if this works. Welcome to the show, folks. My name is Bad Guru, aka Peter Hartman, aka a Yangite, aka super happy to be with you here tonight. Tonight's show, we're going to be talking about The View Round 2. Let me put it up here. We're going to talk about The View. Nope, that is the wrong thing, Peter. That is the wrong thing. Bad Guru, so naughty. Now I'm going to have to change this while I'm doing the show on the air. You know what? I'm going to do it, okay? I'm going to do it. It's going to be weird. It's going to be weird, but I'm going to do it. You're not going to see me. You're just going to hear me, but I'm going to do it because I didn't go through all the trouble to get this thing done, only to not be able to use the footage that I created here. So we're going to open up a new side panel here, and hopefully the right one. I didn't pick the right one, and so that's fine. All we got to do is go back in there and pick the pick the right one. This is uncomfortable. This is uncomfortable, folks. Come on, black screens is not going to help, and a slow computer is not going to do well by me. All right, let's hope that works. There we go. Let's go back to the main overlay. All right. I'm figuring it out, folks. I'm figuring it out. Today we're going to be talking about The View Round 2. Kimberly Watkins, impeachment, how that affects Donald Trump, Joe Biden, and the interview with Rachel Maddow. If you want to see these videos, if there's any video that I mentioned inside the show, you can find that on my Facebook page. So it's the campaign to, it's re-elect Andrew Yang 2024. You can check me out on Facebook, and you can see the clips there. Sometimes you're like on YouTube, you're trying to figure things out. You just want a place where these links can be. I'm posting that on the Facebook page. If you feel like I have a video that should be up there that I didn't post up there, just post it in the comments or let me know somehow. DM me on Twitter or something. Message me on Facebook, and we'll get that done. I want to make it easy for the Yang gang to see what's happening with Andrew Yang. All right, let's get into the show, folks. Hey, why is that popping up, that thing? Oh, that's the wrong thing. Oh my God, did I really do the wrong thing? All right, give me a second. I know this is weird, but I made a mistake, and so I'm going to fix it. This is supposed to be a good show, and now I'm messing up the show. But you guys are Yang Gang. You guys, this is a work in progress. I'm trying to become a better version of myself, trying to create a better show. So we're just gonna do it. We're gonna do it this way. All right. I loaded the wrong thing. Okay, let me load up the side panel here. And oh God, this is weird. That's just the way life goes. There we go. And we're back, folks. We are back. And I can get my lower thirds there. Bad Guru, Yang supporter. I rate Yang Gang supporter because that's what I am. I support Andrew Yang, but man, the thing I love about Andrew Yang the most is the Yang Gang. You Yang Gangers are absolutely fantastic. Youngsters are amazing, and I'm just jealous. I just wish I could be with you in LA and every time I see these videos of you guys out there, I just wish I could be there with you, celebrating, excited, seeing Andrew Yang. I'm gonna have to find some way to get that done. All right, let's get on to the show. Andrew Yang's second appearance on The View. Now, Yang is getting some love, folks. Compared to the first interview, the second one, I mean, we know Whoopi is on board, but man, there were some criticisms, and I loved the second interview. It felt really good to watch the second interview because he got some love, right? He got some honest to goodness recognition for what he's doing, for what he's achieved. He's no slouch anymore. He deserves to be there, and I think that's really good. So he's getting some love. He looked far more comfortable than I'd seen him in the first one. The first one, his body language is in, and I get it. When I'm around people and I'm trying to be respectful, it's just like, okay. And you're surrounded on both sides by women. It's like, okay, got to be respectful. But here in this one, he looked so much more comfortable. He didn't look phased, and he even got some hard questions and he didn't look phased. A topic came up and that was kind of harsh and he did not get phased. So I really love how comfortable he looks. That hard work that he's putting in, the interviews, the podcast, the rallies, everything that he's doing, he's really learning very well on the job. So absolutely fantastic. He's getting love. He's getting more comfortable. He's getting good at squeezing in his message in every question. He's not letting a question go to waste. He's getting good at squeezing in. So I remember they asked him some question, and he found a way to squeeze in his message about the freedom dividend, squeeze in something to a question that he could have easily just answered it and moved on. You know what, Andrew Yang, the thing he's been doing, right? He answers a question, and that's it. Right? He answers a question, and that's it. It's like he's taking a test. Like, this is what they're looking for. This is the answer to the question. And I do that too. I used to do that with the work that I do. Just give people the answer. But then you gotta find a way to give them more than what they're asking for, right? Give them more. Give them depth to your answer. So he's finding a way. He's getting good at squeezing in his message, even when the question is sort of like tangential, even if it'd be easy for him to just answer the question and move on and wait for another question. He's not letting it go to waste. And that's good because you never know what the next questions are going to be. You never know when you're going to have a chance to get your message out. Interviews might be cut short. There might be somebody else who speaks up. You might get interrupted. So squeezing in your message, that's what he's got to do during the debates, right? During the debates, just like last time he answered the questions, but he's got to answer the question and also squeeze in his message. He's got to keep talking about his message. That's what's going to get him ahead. When people understand his message, he will win. All people have to do is understand his message, and he has to squeeze that message in every chance he gets. And he did that during the second appearance on The View. He really got his message out there. He didn't let the questions go to waste. So I was very proud of him for that. I wrote my note here, and I have no idea what letting go a married woman. What is that? What did I write here? Anyway, we'll skip that. Kimberly Watkins, right? Kimberly Watkins was mentioned. It was the first time I was catching up on all my Andrew Yang videos. I was catching up on everything. I'd seen some things, but not all of the things. And when I saw when the View came up, when the second appearance of The View popped up on YouTube. But I didn't want to watch things out of order, right? I don't like to watch the videos out of order, so I have to wait to watch it and climb up. So my surprise when Kimberly Watkins got mentioned in this interview, I had no idea what they were talking about. I was totally shocked by it. I was taken aback, and so I had to go and dig into that. So let's talk about Kimberly Watkins here next. Okay, so I was going to run through the story, but I really don't want to give it too much airtime. If I felt like the story was just 100% legitimate and just I would want to run through the story and do tit for tat, and maybe I'll do that in the future. But it was just so heavy-handed against Andrew Yang, not just against Andrew Yang and how she claims she was treated, but about his policies, like how you make that connection between you getting fired. Okay, let's see. First, let me tell you this: winter is coming. I mentioned this in the last video. With this one, I might as well say winter is here, because this is a pretty hard issue for him to deal with. I hope it doesn't get too much traction, but every prominent candidate has something bad about them, and I don't know if this story is true. I don't know. Normally what I do is I hear two sides of the story and I split the difference, and I find the truth somewhere in the middle. Did Andrew Yang fire this woman? Yes, so that's a fact. Was she back from her honeymoon days after her honeymoon? Yes, that's a fact. That's not great. He becomes a president, he fires him. That's not great, but I can see both sides. I can see how it could be perfectly legitimate. I can see how you don't want to fire someone before they get married. You do it after. I mean, when's a good time, right? Would it have been better if you fired her before she went on her honeymoon, before she dealt with all this, before, she claims that her life was sort of ruined, that to tell her husband that they weren't having this income anymore. It's like, okay, well, what if you found out before the honeymoon? Should he have told you before you even got engaged, before you got married? I mean, what was the deal? What are we supposed to do? If people get fired, you're an at-will employee. Anyway, I don't know what's true. I honestly don't know. None of us knows what's true, right? We hear what Andrew Yang says. We're biased. We hear what she says. Some people are biased. And you split the difference. I don't know. Was there something bad that happened? I don't know. Some people get fired. And it's not a great we got fired because of the budget, because of cost, to cut costs. And it's like, okay, people don't like to hear that either. That doesn't sound like good news either, but it makes sense. So just know that every prominent candidate has something bad. Either legitimate or illegitimate, they have something bad about them, something that you're not going to like, behaviors that you're not going to like. They all have something bad. So we're not looking for a saint here. There's no saints running for president, okay? The presidency draws strange people. Come on, man. Andrew Yang has his joke where he says, my first thought wasn't to run for president because I'm not crazy, all right? But eventually he got to the idea of running for president, so he's got to be a little crazy, right? He's got to be a little nuts, right? This guy, running for president is not normal people who do that. It's super hard work, super hard. You're on the road. I know he jokes about it, easier to deal with running for president than it is to deal with his kids. But it's hard. It ain't good to run for president. And everything about you gets uncovered. Everything about you gets dug up. It's so visible. Running for president draws some strange people. So he can't be totally normal. So Yang... But I don't believe Yang is normal. And I said this in the last video. Yang is not normal. I thought he was, but he's not normal. He's extraordinary. All right? Not just because he's running for president, but just the way he thinks, how good he is, how on point he is, how he can express himself. He's clever, wise, and all those good things. He's an extraordinary guy. And so I accept that extraordinary people are going to behave in ways that might not be the greatest, and there might be some bad things about the way he is. And I expect that from people who are divergent. I expect that from people who are atypical. I expect that from people who run for president. Don't expect a saint. Don't expect some guy who's going to be great on all levels. It's going to be some things, especially in his past, that you're not going to like. Again, I don't know if this story is true. I don't know if this story is true or how true it is or anything like that. But I'm just saying deep down in my heart, whether it's this story or another, we're going to hear something. We're not going to like it. People are going to jump ship. Don't jump ship. Don't jump ship. Andrew Yang has become a representative of an idea. Just like Donald Trump, Andrew Yang is a representative of a message. So he's no longer just a person anymore. The person is flawed, and he can be destroyed and taken down, and he will be destroyed, and they will try to destroy him and take him down, okay? Inevitably. But he's no longer just a person. He's a representative of a set of ideas and a set of ideals. And that's what you're behind. So if he does something personally that you don't like, something that you consider to be distasteful, whether that's Shane Gillis or whether that's firing this Kimberly Watkins or whatever, or just jokes about the Asian people, whatever it is, he's no longer a person. He's a representative of idea. He's our spokesperson. So If there was someone better, I'll go for someone better. But I don't think there's anybody better than Andrew Yang. I'm not interested in fighting about what's true. Okay? I've spent too much of my life pulling my hair out, trying to figure out what's true in politics. What's true? Who's right? What's true? And you're reading all these stories and then back and forth and you're analyzing. I was reading this Reddit post where a guy was analyzing this Kimberly Watkins situation, and his analysis was kind of weird. I'm assuming it was a he. I don't know if it was a he. This person's analysis was kind of weird, I thought they took it to a weird place. But I recognize that sentiment of wanting to decode and analyze every little detail. But I'm tired of fighting what's true. I accept that if it is true, still I support Andrew Yang. Because he's not just a person. He's a representative of an idea. So I'm not fighting. I'm not wasting my energy on what's true. Instead, let's spend our energy in creative endeavors in order to popularize Andrew Yang, in order to make him more prominent, in order to get his name out there. That's what we need to do. Use our creativity in order to bolster him, not use our minds and our energy in order to dig in the dirt and figure out what's true and what's not true. It doesn't help. I've done it, and it doesn't help. Eventually you're going to get to something where you're going to have to decide, am I for this guy or am I not? So I say be for him. When you pick a candidate, you should expect them to falter. And I know it's weird to think that way, but you're going to have an easier time, I think, if you do. Expect them to falter. Expect them to have mistakes. Expect them to have things in their past that you don't like. Expect it. Because disappointment happens when your expectations are dashed. When you have expectations and they're dashed, that's when you feel disappointment. So if you want to get rid of your disappointment and stop worrying about your disappointment, you got to change your expectations. You got to get rid of them. Or you got to have reasonable expectations. And a reasonable expectation, a logical one, is that we expect Andrew Yang to falter, because he will. So you expect him to falter. Even when he gets into office, he might falter, right? Because power corrupts. That institution corrupts. He talks about that. He talks about having friends who went into Washington, D.C. and they didn't come out normal anymore. They came out sort of skewed. So that could very well happen to Andrew Yang. I mean, it's almost impossible to not be in a bubble, right? We're all in a bubble. We're all walking around in our own personal bubble. And right now, Andrew Yang shares the bubble with us. But when he gets into power, when he gets into office, he could very well falter. He could very well make mistakes. He could very well do things that you might not like. And it's the Yang Gang's job, it's the people's job, it's the citizens' job to hold the candidate to that which they've promised. And I feel like a lot of people, a lot of citizens don't do this. Hold the candidate's feet to the fire, even when they get into office. You said you're going to do this. If you want our support, keep doing this. And don't let it go. Hold them to what they promised. So expect Andrew Yang to falter, and expect us to hold him to what he promised. Like I mentioned, power corrupts. And we're sending Yang into a den of thieves. Into a den of thieves. We're sending Andrew Yang into the lion's den. A den of thieves. He's going to get at least a little dirty. At least. If he's not a little dirty already. At least. Right? I mean, think about it. You're sending him into the darkest pit, political pit, Washington, D.C. You wanted to be president. I feel sorry for Yang sometimes. It's like I love him so much I don't want him to become president. He seems like a good guy, as far as good guys go. And I wouldn't wish the presidency on anyone. It's a tough job. It's very difficult. And to remain true to who you are after all that, I don't know. Maybe it's more possible because he's an outsider. Maybe hasn't been formatted to that experience, and so he's more likely to survive. Plus, he has the Yang Gang behind him. We're always going to be behind him and support him and give him life and vitality and give him power, so he won't need to do the dirty work that he needs to do because he'll have people power. But come on, man, we're sending him into hell. Den of thieves. It's gonna be messy. But Yang will get dirty for the American people. I think Yang will get dirty for the American people because His power comes from the people. I think his dirtiness will be on the side of the people. He might do things that are against the law, he shouldn't do, that are wrong, but he'll do it for the people, right? He'll do it for the people because that's where he gets his power from. And yeah, it might lead to like a Julius Caesar situation. It might lead to some weird situation, where we got Emperor Yang, dictator for life, who is behaving in ways that, behaving in ways that you behave when you got people power, right? When you have that power of the people behind you, and you're giving them $1,000 a month, and you're Julius Caesar, and you're giving them bread, and you're giving them food, and you have the power of the people. Well, suddenly you can make decisions that aren't that great, aren't very American. And but we'll pay attention. We'll hold him to the fire, but he'll get dirty. Let's hope he doesn't become Julius Caesar. Andrew Yang. All right, I want to talk about the Yahoo Finance. That's right, the Yahoo Finance video. So Andrew Yang wasn't in this Yahoo Finance thing. It was just a dialogue between two people, and I thought it was interesting. It gave me a glimpse, and it'll give you a glimpse of what the average politically engaged person might think. That these people, they didn't dive into the topic. They did not understand what was going on. Everything about what they were talking about mostly was superficial. But they did provide insight. We did get some insight. One, what would the average person get by being superficial? What would the average person get? And then there were some criticisms that I thought were like, okay, that's interesting. I liked hearing it. I like to hear them actually reason out something, even if they don't understand it in depth. They made assumptions about Andrew Yang, about his policies that just weren't true, and it made it harder for them to understand what was going on. But a lot of people are going to be coming at it from that perspective. A lot of people are going to be coming from it with that same mindset that these two folks had on Yahoo Finance. So to hear what they're saying and to form rebuttals and answers for that was very useful. So I thought it was pretty cool. So don't take offense, right? Don't take offense when people, when you have these pundits or analysts or whoever they are or economists disagree, right? Don't take offense. Their disagreement, one, is good. It's good for Andrew Yang. It's good for the Yang Gang. It sharpens us. It makes you think about what you would answer in that situation and makes you better able to spread his message. And you want to also recognize that, like, it's in their best interest in these media platforms for them to disagree, because disagreement, that sells, right? If you're just like, oh, we agree with Andrew Yang, this is a show about how we agree with Andrew Yang, you're not going to be that interested, right? But if you disagree, well, then there's tension, there's conflict, and that's what's interesting. When you watch a movie, a TV show, read a book, read a comic book, anything, you're looking for tension, you're looking for conflict. And so it's, often people, journalists, whoever, they take opposing views, even if they don't agree with it. They take opposing views in order to create something that's more entertaining, more engaging. So disagreement sells. And agreeing with the status quo, that pays, man. Right? Come on. You can't expect people who are in the establishment, who obey the status quo, to sort of veer off. They're not going to jump ship. They're not going to leave because it's in their best interest to obey the status quo. They get paid for that. Suddenly you start sticking up, you start sounding differently, you get fired, you get canned, and you leave under mysterious circumstances. We no longer need you. Agreeing with the status quo pays. And a lot of people are going to agree with the status quo, not because, oh, did my light go off? They're going to agree with the status quo not because necessarily because they are 100% behind it, but because it's in their best interest. And if the freedom dividend tells us anything, it's that human beings prefer what's in their own best interest. I mean, that's why we want the 1K. That's why you want the freedom dividend, to do what's in your own best interest. And that's what happened on this Yahoo Finance video. So forgive them. Forgive ignorance in your heart. Don't. You can get upset when people are malicious, right? That is totally understandable. But when people are ignorant, when it's clear that they're ignorant, well, then you can let that go. You can forgive them. And people who are ignorant, once they get information, it might then change them. So don't sweat it. All right, number 4 here, we got, what do we got up here? Joe Rogan, the Joe Rogan smear. Let me tell you this, folks. Joe Rogan, that was no smear, all right? That was no smear at all, Joe Rogan. I watched that whole clip, that whole thing. It wasn't smear. He had a criticism about Andrew Yang and veganism. And he was just saying, hey, I don't think Andrew Yang gets the real problem here. And I kind of agree. I don't think that Andrew Yang gets it. Veganism, there's a lot to say about veganism. You dive into that topic, there's more that goes on with it. Did he do the math about that, or is he just being superficial about it? Is Andrew Yang being superficial about it, or does he really understand the issue? I don't get the impression that Andrew Yang truly understands the issue. Yes, of course, it's probably very good, super strong pros for being vegan. But then there are other unforeseen consequences, other things that when I learned about them, I was like, oh my God, I don't know how I feel about that, you know? So the criticism wasn't a smear. It wasn't. Joe Rogan is a comedian. That's the way he is. It's the way he talks. I did not at all get the impression that he was smearing Andrew Yang. Okay? People nitpicking the way he speaks and calling him that guy or whatever. Joe Rogan interviewed Andrew Yang, and he gave him a solid, fair interview. That's who Joe Rogan is. And Joe Rogan does 3 interviews a day, 2 or 3 a day. He talks to a lot of people. That Andrew Yang interview was, at least from Joe Rogan's perspective, a while back. So him saying that guy, Joe Rogan doesn't pay attention to politics and dive into it and stay like the Yang Gang does. He's not doing that. So to him, it's like that guy I interviewed a while back. He's had 100 interesting conversations since Andrew Yang. Okay, he's not smearing the guy. He's not making light of the guy, making it sound like he doesn't know who he is. He's not up to it like we are, and he has a genuine disagreement when it comes to veganism. So that Joe Rogan thing, I just want to tell you guys, that was no smear. All right, way worse is coming. If you think that comment by Joe Rogan is going to get you, if that comment by Joe Rogan is getting your hackles up, getting your hairs up, get ready, folks, because it's going to get way, way worse than that. Okay? Joe Rogan was not smearing Andrew Yang. I mean, come on. Really? Really? Let it go, folks. Let it go. I watch Joe Rogan all the time. I've listened to countless hours of Joe Rogan. He was not smearing the guy. He wasn't. He wasn't. All right. Up next here, we got... yes, Andrew Yang qualifying for the November debates. So I don't know if it's done yet or if he's about to, but he's working on qualifying for the November debate. So I don't know if he's qualified or not. I don't know where he's at. You know, maybe I should Google this because I can't open up my browser because then my computer will go slow. I really hope he qualifies. I think it's likely that he will qualify for the debates. I don't think we're living in that zone where we're on edge about him qualifying for the debates. There's a lot that we have to do. We got to work. We can't take anything for granted, right? You can't take anything for granted. You can't assume anything. Can't just assume that he's going to make it. I don't know if he's in yet for November and December, but redouble your efforts, okay? He cannot miss out on any debates. He can't. All right? I mean, he can, but he really shouldn't. And you don't win in the debates, but they're a huge opportunity to make yourself known, not only to the world and not only to the population, but also to that pundit class, also to the political class, also to the media. It's important that he shines there to some degree, and that he has a presence there to be taken seriously. All right? I want him to make the debates. We all want him to make the debates. So if there's something that you can do, if there's some creative way that you can engage and get Andrew Yang's word out there, right? I see MC Jin, he wrote a rap. I want to write a rap about Andrew Yang because I think it's important to use all your talents. I do this show because I want to use all my talents, all my skills in order to help Andrew Yang. So if you got something in the bank, something you can do, something you can build, something you can craft, something you can shape, some product, go out there and do it. All right. Don't feel like, oh, somebody else is going to do it. Other people are getting it done. Or I already contributed money. That's all I need to do. We need Andrew Yang to get popularity. We need his poll numbers to go up. We need his donations. His donations, I think, are doing pretty solidly, but don't let those polls disrupt you. They're going to try to find ways to get candidates out of the upcoming debates. They're going to find some tricky ways in order to, either fudge the numbers or to change the rules or something. So we got to be outstanding. You can't just like squeak in. You got to go above and beyond. So when it comes to the November, December debates, that's the mission right now, right? That's the mission that we're on right now. Get him in those debates. But I think you already knew that. All right. Well, this is going to help him get into the debates. Andrew Yang, 8% in the national poll. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Fourth place. Mwah! Mwah! Yang Gang! Oh my God! The phone banking, the banners in the sky, the songs created, everything is helping Andrew Yang here. 8%, highest we've ever seen him. That is something to celebrate, guys. Pat yourself on the back. Feel the love for that moment. I know you have, but 8% is fantastic. I remember looking at Andrew Yang at 0.1%, 0.1%, 0.1%, 0.1%. And I'd see his face and you look, we're going to make it. We're going to go all the way. We're going to get there. And I'd be like, oh my God, really? 0.1%. Then 1%, 2%, 1%, 2%. For the longest time, 1 or 2%. I keep looking at the polls, and I refresh the page. And every single day, looking at the polls, wishing he would get up. And then maybe 1, he gets to 3, and then 8%. Gosh darn it. Andrew Yang is doing right by us. He is doing right by us. 8% in the national poll, beating Kamala Harris in her own state, beating Pete Buttigieg. He's becoming undeniable, folks. In fact, he might already be undeniable. I mean, 8%, he's got to get to those double digits, but he's probably going to get there soon, right? And he's getting higher up. And I don't know what's happening there with the top 3 candidates, the top 3 tier candidates, but Andrew Yang is closing that gap. It's so exciting. I mean, I am so excited. I've been engaged in politics and I've been paying attention, but I've never been so enthralled with what's going on. This is better than Trump. This is better than Obama. This is better than George W. Bush. This is better than all of that stuff. This is fascinating. People are going to be probably writing books and reports and stories in the future about Andrew Yang and what he's done here. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. 8% in a national poll. I could not be happier. This is the best news that I got. It was one of the best things. When I heard about that, I was like, I got to make my videos. I got to get these things out because 8% means that the momentum, the Yang momentum is real. I mean, I remember hearing Yang momentum and I was like, but is there really a Yang momentum? Yeah, he's doing a little bit better, but you have a debate and then things go a little bit better. Of course, that's normal. You got so much exposure, but 8% means he's doing something serious because those other candidates that he's leaving in the dust, they wish they had that 8%. So congratulations, Andrew Yang, sir. Sir, allow me to shake your hand, Mr. President. Andrew Yang, man. God. You could see in his eyes. You look in his eyes and he's like confident and he's sure. And you think, is this guy just a salesman? Is this guy just a BSer? This 8%? He ain't no BSer, man. He ain't lying. He's serious. He sees a way forward. And he's showing us that way. Andrew Yang at 8%. What's next? All right. Let's knock this out. Oh, Biden's survival. Yes. Biden's survival. Okay, so this is really about... all right, so before we talk about impeachment I want to talk about Biden. So Donald Trump's current impeachment situation really involves Biden in a way that is not great for Biden. This whole Ukraine thing and his son... I mean, is this... Okay. So politicians they have their children on the board of directors of major companies, even though they are woefully unqualified. They get money, and you think, okay, well, I know what it's like to get a hookup. You might call it nepotism, but I know how it's like to get a hookup and somebody helping you out, and you know a guy, and you have a family member, and to get you in a position. And I don't see anything sort of fundamentally wrong with having your kids get money and be successful in great jobs that they don't deserve. I mean, I don't really see that as a problem. To me, I think it's normal, right? Is it normal? I think it's normal. I think it's normal for these politicians to have their kids in positions where those kids are getting money. I think it's normal. I think it's part of the perks of the job. When I worked at McDonald's, I eat McDonald's all the time. I had free food. It wasn't supposed to be free, but I had free food all the time. It's one of the perks of the job. It was against the rules. It was against policy, but perks of the job. You got perks to your job. You got perks to your life. You got things that, kind of color outside the lines. They're not exactly in the rules, kind of frowned upon. But so to me, it kind of seems normal that Biden's son would be on a board and getting $50,000 a month or whatever. And corruption is inevitable. Like that's what I believe. Corruption, especially in politics, is inevitable. In every domain where human beings compete, they cheat. There is cheating. Every domain, every sphere that human beings compete, there is manipulation, corruption, and cheating. So the fact that Biden's son, but he is being embroiled in this, and I don't think it's going to go away, especially if they're going to be impeaching Donald Trump on this thing, or going through that process. Biden is going to get hurt. So it's going to be interesting to see his poll numbers as this news really takes hold, because his electability thing is really going out the window. I thought Joe Quo was milk toast, Joe returned to normalcy, status quo, Joe Quo. I thought he was milk toast. I thought he was just like Jeb. I thought he was like, there's nothing special about this guy, right? He's just ordinary. Keep the boat straight. But he might be dirty. Not really dirty, not super corrupt, but in a way that we don't really like, opportunistic, But corruption is inevitable. It's part of the process. So I don't expect anybody to be a saint. And in terms of wrong things to do, I don't know. It doesn't seem that dramatic to me that Joe Biden's son's gotten good. Got some cash. And when an offense is shared, then there's not going to be any consequences, right? You think Biden's son is the only one getting perks here? All of their kids are getting perks. So if you're at the top of the hill, your kids are getting perks, man. And so when you have an offense that's shared by everyone, right? When everybody's jaywalking, nobody gets stopped for jaywalking. If everybody's downloading illegal files, nobody really gets picked up for that. It's because everybody's doing it. And so all these politicians, they're doing these things or doing something like it. So you're not going to throw stones living in glass houses. So I don't think there's going to be any consequence, any political, any legal consequences for Joe Biden when it comes to this scandal. Political consequences, on the other hand, I don't know. Will he end up suffering in the polls? I think so. And the more we talk about Donald Trump and being impeached, the more that conversation goes, the more we're going to hear Joe Biden and the wrong things that he did. So I've got to dive into the story more. It sounds like what they believe that Trump did, withholding foreign aid to Ukraine in order to get something in return. It might be that Joe Biden did something very similar. So I don't know how that works. Normally, you don't get pinched when other people are doing the same thing as you, but they really hate Donald Trump. So even if Donald Trump does something that other people do, I think he'll still get pinched for that. And I think that's what we're seeing here. So will Joe Biden survive this whole Trump-Ukraine thing? Legally, yeah, I'm pretty sure he will survive. Politically, I don't think so. There's already a lot of hate. There's a lot of conspiracy theories, and I don't dive into that. I'm not really interested in that right now, not on this topic. We'll see how big it gets. But just the story alone is not good. You see Joe Biden, he's talking on camera. He's getting angry now. He's being upset. And I don't know if that's a strategy. I don't know if that's a tactic, but seems to be on the defensive. So we'll see how that goes. Oh, poor Joe Biden. Joe Quo. All right, we've got the impeachment of Donald Trump. Okay, so Donald Trump impeachment proceedings have begun in the House. This is interesting. Now, how do we feel about this? If Donald Trump gets impeached, and let's say somehow he's no longer in office, and it's Mike Pence, how does Andrew Yang fare against Mike Pence? What is the message there? I can beat Donald Trump. I can beat Donald Trump. Well, now Donald Trump has been beaten in this hypothetical situation. Who's best to run against Mike Pence? Is it Andrew Yang? I don't know. I have no clue. But Yang talked about impeachment. First, he was like, impeachment is not a great idea. But then he got to the point where he's like, I think impeachment is a good idea here. And here I disagree with Yang. I don't entirely believe that what Donald Trump did was impeachable. It could be. It very well could be. If there was a quid pro quo, if he really did what people are saying he did, then I think there's grounds for impeachment. But I'm not sure that it can be proved, you know? And so Yang stepping over the line and saying, yes, I think this crossed the line, I think it's jumping the gun a little bit. And it's not going to endear him towards the other side, who he really needs to win. He needs to appeal. His whole thing is that 10% of Donald Trump supporters would vote for me. And it's like, okay, you need to, one, it's got to be more than 10%. And two, you're not going to get that 10% by being a part of impeaching Trump, you know? I don't know. I think he jumped the gun on that one. Again, let Yang be Yang, right? Let Yang be Yang. Stay true to what he believes, right? But I don't want it to play to the base, and I hope that him saying we should impeach Donald Trump is truly what he believes after really looking into the situation, and not just what would be politically convenient. You know, I don't think Andrew Yang is that type of person. We saw that with Shane Gillis. He didn't do the politically expedient thing. But when it comes to this impeachment thing, it's a really tough one to say, no, I don't believe Donald Trump should be impeached. And the benefits of saying he should be impeached are so high that I hope he's not just saying that. I don't know the situation very well. I've got to pay more attention to it. It's highly polarized, so it's hard to get the truth on this. You know, the people who are really against it are really against him. The people who are really for it are really for him. So I'm not sure. But as long as Andrew Yang stays true to what he believes, I think that will be the right decision. He doesn't got to do everything the right way. He doesn't have to be right all the time. But I hope he speaks and he behaves in accordance with what he truly values. So Yang on impeachment remains to be seen. I think he jumped the gun, but maybe not. Maybe it's a good thing. Let me know what you think in the comments below, folks. All right, so we got Andrew Yang here. Okay, so Andrew Yang was on Rachel Maddow, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So finally he gets on there. He gets the interview sitting in the studios, right? He's not on satellite. He's not being piped in over a satellite. He gets to sit there, look at Rachel Maddow in the face, and she gave him praise. She gave him decent, solid praise. She wasn't like it was fair. It was good. The Rachel Maddow interview was fun to watch, and when she said that she was looking forward to speaking with him again on a longer form and having him there for the whole show, I think she was being true. And it's hard for me to know, and I'm very suspicious of everybody and their motives, but she did right by Andrew Yang, I think. And it was such an achievement, I think, for Andrew Yang to get onto that show and be able to be exposed. I mean, Rachel Maddow is, if not the most popular, one of the most popular pundits, news personalities, reporters on TV, anchors on TV, political news. And so the fact that he got on there, huge boost. And I think we're going to see a huge boost in his poll numbers because of that. So great job. And he did a fantastic job. He was comfortable and good. He was light. You know, it's so fascinating to watch Andrew Yang in these interviews because when I see him on a debate stage, at least the first time, he looked kind of deer in the headlights, like they were saying on the 538 podcast. But on Rachel Maddow, like you could tell, he's like clear, present. He's there. He ain't sweating. He ain't nervous. I mean, he might be a little bit nervous, but he did very, very well. He was natural, and that's always what I want to see from Andrew Yang, being natural. And Rachel Maddow is so natural that if he wasn't, you would be able to see it very clearly. That contrast would be very obvious. But Andrew Yang was very natural. I am proud of Andrew Yang. He is doing very, very well. And getting on to Rachel Maddow, I don't know how that happened. I don't know why she decided it all of a sudden, but maybe it wasn't all of a sudden. She was praising him before, but I was hearing very little from Rachel Maddow when it comes to Andrew Yang. But here he was sitting right across from her, shaking hands, having a fun time. It felt great. It was like watching him on The View in the second round on The View. It was like watching him on Rachel Maddow. It was just as meaningful and as impactful. So good for you, Andrew Yang. You did a great job there. Thanks. All right. Last here we got oh yes, Andrew Yang's true power. Okay, so part of what I want to do with the show is that really, I'm a Yang Gang supporter. That's what I am. I'm a Yang Gang supporter, and as much as I love talking about Andrew Yang, what I really want to do is I want to encourage and motivate and guide and be there for the Yang Gang. The Yang Gang is Andrew Yang's true power. That is his real power. There's his message, but then there's also the people. And I think there's a way we can use that. I mean, you guys know this. We can use it to his advantage. But I have a specific way I believe the Yang Gang can use their power to help Andrew Yang. And that is to demonstrate people power. Demonstrate people power and people love. Right? The freedom dividend is it's not only about giving people choice and giving people economic freedom. It's also about love. It's also about recognizing the value of a human being, recognizing the value of a human being, humanity first. So, I had an idea. I call it Yang Gang Cares, hashtag Yang Gang Cares, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to call it. But I believe that it'd be cool if the Yang Gang got funds together and demonstrated their power and their love for people by helping a person or a business, especially in the early states, the early voting states, right? New Hampshire, South Carolina, Iowa, to find a person or a business and to give them $1,000. Give them $1,000 just to give them a tiny amount of relief for that month. Not $1,000 every month for a year, just to give a person or a business $1,000 and to hear their story about how that helps them even in the short term. So can the Yang Gang demonstrate that they care? And would it matter if all of a sudden you start hearing stories that the Yang Gang gave $1,000 to this person, the Yang Gang gave $1,000 to that person, the Yang Gang gave $1,000 to this business? Would that make a difference? Would that be media worthy, right? Yes, you can contribute to the campaign and buy merch and all that stuff, and you definitely should. But what if the Yang Gang was out there, the Good Samaritans, giving $1,000 a month to people? Wouldn't that get in the news? So I think hashtag Yang Gang Cares could be very good. I think it could be a cool idea where the Yang Gang goes out there and starts giving money. I mean, I don't know how many people there are in the Yang Gang, right? Thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, I don't know. But I think there's got to be enough that if each person gives $1 or something, you can get a group chunks of $1,000 to give to a bunch of people. And especially if you do that in the early states, you're going to get his name out there. You're going to get name recognition. People are going to know more about it. And I think it'd be a very effective and maybe an innovative way to get Andrew Yang's message out there, get his name out there. Start giving $1,000 to people. Andrew Yang did this on the stage, right? He's going to give it to 10 people for 1 year. But one-off shots of 1,000 here, 1,000 there. You find those stories about those people where $1,000 would really matter, where it really make a difference. You find those people who are not just going to put $1,000 on their student loan debt, but they're going to put it towards something meaningful and impactful. I don't know how we're going to find those people, but if you found those people and then gave them $1,000, the Yang Gang, then suddenly, the Bernie Bros, I remember last cycle, the Bernie Bros, they got some hate, right? They got some hate. There was some bad behavior by some Bernie Bros, but there was just smear on the Bernie Bros about how they were this or that. You guys know the smear, so I don't want to put more fuel to that fire. And I kind of feel like sometimes there's a kind of some of that smear with the Yang Gang, you know, and I believe in the future is going to be more of that, especially with the word gang in it. It just sounds kind of aggressive. But if the Yang Gang is like not Robin Hood, but if they're like good Samaritans and they're like giving $1,000 here and $1,000 there and $1,000 there, and you do that 5, 10 times, then suddenly Yang Gang becomes synonymous with people caring. And people ask, why is the Yang Gang doing this? It's because Yang Gang cares. They're doing it because they believe in the value of people, humanity first. And that same Yang Gang that are going around helping people with this $1,000, they're the same people who support Andrew Yang because he promotes the values and the message that they agree with. So I think it'd be a kind of a cool way to get Andrew Yang's message out there. You guys let me know what you think. Yang Gang cares. Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. I think that's it. That's it for the show, folks. My goodness, it's 5:46 a.m. now. This show was almost an hour here. I don't know if anybody who's watching this whole show, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I am in love with Andrew Yang. I am in love with the Yang Gang, and I am here for you guys. I want to entertain you. I want to use my skills however I can in order to help Andrew Yang, in order to help the Yang Gang. I want to share with you a perspective that I have that might be a little bit different. I've seen other races. I know what's going to come. I know how hard it gets. I know the smears are coming. I know the pain it feels in your heart, you might feel in your heart, the frustration. And I want to be in there. I want to be the person who says, hang in there, Yang Gang. I want to be the person that tells the Yang Gang, hang in there. Stay motivated. Keep that fire going. I know it's going to get rough, but we can still do this. Andrew Yang was a long shot, but now he's within that three-point shot range, right? And we see how good he is on the court. It's hard for me to nail a three-pointer. I got to get up real close and multiple tries. But we're in that zone where a three-pointer is possible. A three-pointer that wins the game is possible, right? We're just into half court. 4th place, 8% national polling in the next debates. Probably going to make the other ones. I'm there for you, Yang Gang. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you so much for everybody who watched this. If you could like this video or even dislike it if you don't like it, but if you can like or dislike, I really appreciate that. And subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell so that you get notified when I go live. So most of what I do live. You know, I also release clips. I also do videos, but most of what I do is live. If you want to know when I post a video or when I'm going live, hit that bell, and I would really value your attention. I watch pretty much every video about Andrew Yang online, and I try to give you my take on it, and I try to share things with you that I think would be meaningful and important. I try to give you a perspective that's different than what I hear other people saying. So if you're in love with Andrew Yang, and if you're as obsessed as I am, then join the campaign to re-elect Andrew Yang in 2024, because the road to the White House in 2024 begins with winning the White House in 2020. That's a real roundabout way to support Andrew Yang, huh? But I'm a true believer. 4 years of Andrew Yang just ain't enough. Thank you so much for your attention. This has been a lot of fun. It's 5:48 a.m. right now. I've got to go and eat, and I got to go to bed, and I got to catch up on more videos tomorrow, because I'm pretty sure more videos and more talk about Andrew Yang is happening right now. I can't wait. That's it for me, folks. My name is Bad Guru, a.k.a. Peter Hartman. Thank you so much for watching the show. I'll see you guys very soon. Ooh, that was fun. My goodness.